Hey guys and girls, welcome back to another video, and you're watching Nothing Is Not Is Fine. If you're a wizard, you know what to do. If you're new, welcome. I am here at Bobby Mackey for a tour. So please give this video a thumbs up. I love you all. Share, subscribe, and comment down below. Thank you. Hey guys, I'm back. Of course, it's Princess Peppermint Patty's Haunting, and we're at Bobby Mackey, and Laura, right, is going to be our tour guide. So we're going to follow her and see what's up. Bobby Mackey's is known as being haunted. I've seen too many videos about it, so let's check this out and see what we can get.
Hopefully they'll be up. They're not used to me being here in the afternoon, so they might be surprised.
That's okay.
And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe if they're surprised, you know, they'll act up a little bit. But.
Okay. So we're going to follow her. Go ahead.
So what we're going to do is, like I said, I'm going to give you a brief history tour with visual aids and see how that goes. And then once we do all the history, we'll walk around on this level. And then, like I said, you guys can bust out your equipment and investigate up here, and I'll just hang out with you and do what you want. And then we'll head down the basement and do the same thing down there.
Yeah,
right.
The basement's a little creepy, but okay.
wait till I tell you the great story of what happened. Or did you see it?
I've seen everything about this place.
Did you see the most recent videos by Parallax Paranormal?
I might have. I'm not sure. You might want to tell me anyway.
I will. Believe me. That's a permanent rotation on my tour from now on. They were here like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And the group before them. Oh, it's a long story. I'll tell you when we get there.
I know about Joanna.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the days. I know about her. Carl,
right.
when he was here, he was possessed. That's what I know.
That's what they say, yeah.
Oh.
So that was going to be my next thing. And if you've seen any videos that I've done, or Angie has done,
okay,
we tell the real truth.
Okay.
Of the building.
That's fine.
Because a lot of the shows, especially the older ones, and a lot of the network shows like Ghost Adventures.
Oh.
They like to tell more of the legends and the myths versus true history. So that's what we're going to do.
Okay, that's fine.
We're going to do real history. So,
okay.
I don't know if you can see this. I need to work on this to make it bigger. But this is Finchtown. So this area was called Finchtown back in the 1800s.
Okay.
And by the way, if you want any of these pictures to put in your video, I will email them to you.
Okay, he can email it to me.
So you don't have to. You
can,
but I'm just saying I'll email you some good quality
that's fine.
versions of it. So anyway, this area was called Finchtown. It was just a small settlement on the Licking River.
Okay.
Which is the river right behind us. Now, most of the stories you hear, like Ghost Adventures, they'll tell you that either this used to be a slaughterhouse or it was built over top of an old slaughterhouse. We don't think that's true. From this map, way down here at the bottom was an actual slaughterhouse. Okay?
Okay.
Mackey's is up here. So it wasn't really over top of a slaughterhouse.
Oh, wow.
Because the next thing they tell you is that, the slaughterhouse was who dug the tunnels and the wells out to the river to drain the blood and guts from, what's wrong?
Oh, so I'm very sensitive.
Oh.
I can sense when they're around and stuff.
Is something around?
Yeah, I can feel it.
There have been times, I can't see because of that sun and his light is in my eyes, so like that back there is like completely dark to me. But I've had people, I've had people, like I do the tour and I always stand here and I usually, my back's kind of to that door. And I've had people over there who will be looking behind me going, because they see something coming out of here. And like I said, I'm kind of blind right now, so it's really dark back there. But yeah, there's something definitely back in there. There always has been.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can feel something back there.
Yeah.
I can sense it. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I feel it, and even sometimes like when I'm doing the tour, like, you know how you feel like somebody's right behind you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I feel him all the time. He's never done anything to me, but he is kind of a randy ghost, we'll call him.
Yeah.
Because he's pinched women's butts before. He's rubbed on their legs.
Look at that. There's something there.
Yeah.
You get that? Hi, my name is Patty. I'm not here to disrespect you. How are you? Oh, wow. There's something there.
Why do you hang out in the bathroom anyway? It's not a fun place to hang out.
Yeah, why do you... The bathroom? It's okay, I guess. But thank you for showing that. Yeah, there's definitely something there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I need bigger pictures, but this is a distillery. So in 1876, they built a distillery here, and it was actually the distillery that dug the tunnels. They dug one right beneath us here. There's one on the south end of the parking lot and one on the north end of the parking lot.
Yeah?
And that's an actual picture of the distillery. They dug those tunnels out to the river to pull water up to make whiskey. So,
Yeah.
1876, they opened. They were actually the largest distributor, one of the largest distributors of whiskey in the country for over 40 years. But nobody really ever talks about them because they just want to talk about, you know, the slaughterhouse and blood and guts and all that draining out. But that's just not true.
Yeah,
That
right.
tunnel, that well, whatever you want to call it, was never used to drain anything. It was pulling up water from the river to make whiskey. So that kind of brings us to Pearl Bryan. Have you heard Pearl's story?
You get that?
You know, it's funny. I don't know why that's doing that right now. I've had people bring REM pods in here, and like, they never go off.
Well, that is.
And one time I had some people, and we went through this whole tour. He went up there and he put the REM pod on the dance floor. And we just started doing the tour. And it didn't go off the whole time. And when we were about to leave, it went off.
Oh, really? Okay.
You think that's from me, though?
No, yeah, come back a little bit. Yeah, that's not you. If you're 6 foot away from it, it's not you. There's definitely something there.
Oh, yeah.
See, guys, look. That is awesome. That is amazing. Can I ask you why you're in the bathroom all the time? Not a good place to be. Wow.
So, I was asking, do you know who Pearl Bryan is? She had her head cut off.
I didn't hear about.
Okay. Well, this is Pearl. Back in 1896, she lived in Indiana. She became pregnant. Her boyfriend was Scott Jackson.
He can send us pictures back. So she got pregnant?
Yeah, this is her boyfriend Scott Jackson, and this is his buddy Alonzo Walling. So she became pregnant. Now, back in 1896, if you were unwed and pregnant, that was a really bad situation. So Scott and Alonzo somehow talked her into coming over here to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
They were either going to find someone willing to do an abortion, or they were going to do it themselves.
Oh, wow.
They were dental students, but those skills don't transfer to medical procedures. But either way, something went wrong in the process, and Pearl just kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And, you know, they decided at one point they needed to do something about it because she was becoming a serious liability. So they hired a coach, like a horse and coach, to bring them from Cincinnati across the bridge into Kentucky. In the court testimony at their trial, the coach driver said he stopped in front of the distillery, which would have been here. So he would have stopped right out front. He heard Pearl, you know, screaming and crying in the back, and he asked them to get out. They refused. Supposedly, Alonzo pulled a gun on him and told him to keep going. Okay. And so they kept going over the hill into what is now Fort Thomas. Once they got there, the coach driver said he heard one scream, he didn't hear another sound, and he took off on foot. He left his horse and everything behind.
Wow.
So the scream they probably heard was her getting her throat sliced. And the legend is that Scott and Alonzo, because her head was gone, it was missing, never found.
Oh my God.
So the legend is that Scott and Alonzo brought her head here to the slaughterhouse, did some kind of satanic ritual around the well, threw her head in the well.
Oh, there's one in the basement.
Right.
Yeah.
But 1896, the distillery was fully operational. So there was some kind of pump down there over top of that hole.
Yeah.
So there's a way they could have done that. So the mystery remains what happened to her head, because nobody knows. It was never found. Nobody knows what happened to it. So Scott and Alonzo were eventually arrested. This is the crime scene of where Pearl's body was found. That's not actually her body, that's kind of a reenactment where they wanted to show how her body was found. It was on this little hill, and her head was down, and like her body was up over this little hill.
Yeah.
And then tourists would come to see the murder site of where Pearl died. So that's just some people who came to, they would take things, they would take, bloody leaves, pieces of dirt, anything as a souvenir to come from where Pearl was killed. Now this piece here, this is actually on display over at the Campbell County Historical Society. This is a little suitcase.
Okay.
They think it belonged to Pearl, and Scott had it in his possession. He gave it to a bartender over in Cincinnati and said, "Can you hold this for me?" The bartender said, "Sure." He held on to it for a few days. Then he hears that Scott's been arrested for murder, and he's like, I better turn this into the police. So he turns it into the police, and they find that it has blood in it. Likely Pearl's blood. I have a feeling her head was in there.
Oh, wow.
But we don't know any of this for sure because Scott and Alonzo never confessed to anything, so we don't really know what happened. But the theory, the working theory now, is that Scott took Pearl's head over to the dental college where he was a student, and they had an incinerator over there because they used to practice dentistry on cadavers. So he took the head over there, threw it in the incinerator. Now, if he were smart, he would have burned that bag too.
Right.
But, killers, they sometimes like to keep souvenirs, so that's probably why he kept the bag.
Do you mind if I sit down a moment?
Oh, no, sure. So Scott and Alonzo were found guilty, and they were hung in Newport. They were actually the last public hanging in Newport on March 20th of 1897.
Oh, wow.
And there's another rumor. Whoa.
What's wrong?
A car just pulled up and almost hit the door. Like it.
Oh, that's not good.
What was I going to say? Oh, there's the rumor that there's someone at the door.
Sorry, guys. You see the car out there.
Yeah. Can you pause for a second? Let me see what.
Pause it for a minute.
Because I don't want these people like beating on the doors or anything.
Guys, I'll be right back.
Like I said, the distillery was here from 1876 for 40 years. So up until Prohibition. Once Prohibition started, of course, they had to shut the distillery down. All the buildings were torn down of the distillery, and this was just an empty lot. Eventually, a guy named John Pop purchased the property, and he built a small house, basically, and he and his wife lived on the bottom level, and up here on this top level, they operated a small cafe called the Bluegrass Cafe or the Bluegrass Inn.
Yeah.
And this would have been probably in the early 1920s. So, like I said, he lived on the bottom floor. Up here, he operated the Bluegrass Inn. Also, while we're in this area, this room over here, we call it the Monster Room.
So,
We call it the Monster Room, but that was actually the kitchen area for the Bluegrass Inn, and then later the other nightclubs that followed it. That was their kitchen area. But that's also the room where Carl's exorcism was done.
so in this area here, are there any, did you experience anything in this area?
Like, literally right here?
Yeah.
Not really. Shit, I'm sorry. Hang on. Hello? Yeah. Uh-huh. Sure. Oh, okay. Okay, all right, no problem. All right, thanks. Bye. I got it. That was Denise, Bobby's wife. I'm so sorry, guys.
Okay.
That's I gotta let this guy, he's just dropping off.
Just look around. What's it coming back? It's okay.
For this interruption, we should get some good activity, I hope. So anyway, gosh. So no, nothing has ever happened to me right here.
Okay, what about?
Over here, yes. In fact, one of the first times I was ever in this building, it was a long, long time ago. My friend and I were actually sitting at the bar, and you see it's open, so you can look through here.
Yeah.
And right kind of in that corner where you're pointing your light, we both saw, and there was nobody here. We were kind of babysitting an investigation. They were all in the basement, and she and I were just sitting at the bar just talking. And over here in that corner, we both saw, it was like a blue, I hate orbs. I hate talking about orbs. I don't believe in orbs.
But you saw it.
We saw it, like, it kind of expanded, and it got about the size of a softball, and it was blue. It was a really beautiful color of blue.
Wow.
And it was there for like a second, and then it was gone. And it kind of collapsed on itself.
What?
It was weird. It didn't like float away. It just kind of appeared, and it was gone. And we both saw it. We both like looked at each other like, did you just see that? And that was crazy. Like I said, you know, people send me orb pictures all the time. They'll be down in the basement taking pictures, and it's so dusty down there.
Right.
You know, and they'll say, oh, look at all these orbs. I'm like, yeah, it's dusty. But that was different. I wish I had a picture of it, but. So yeah, that has happened there, but like right here, no, not so much. We do see shadows a lot of times, and you know, coming during the day is really good because at night it is pitch black in here. I mean, you cannot see your hand in front of your face, especially in the basement.
Oh my Lord.
But when you've got this kind of ambient light coming in, you can see shadows, you know, because when it's pitch black, you can't see shadows. So I actually like being here when it's still light outside because you can just see so much contrast. But we do get shadows like right in here and sometimes up in there. So like I said, that's where Carl's exorcism was done. Have you seen the videos of his exorcism? Kind of hard to watch.
Yeah, it really is. But I saw it.
People always ask, like, you know, was that real? It was real in the sense that it happened. I mean, everybody has their own beliefs as far as, you know, possession and things like that. He felt like it was necessary, and if it helped him, I guess that's what matters. But I don't know that it did help him, really. Because he continued to have issues even after that. So, you know, I don't know. But yeah, so that's where the exorcism was performed, was up there. Like I said, we get shadows up there, we get a lot of banging. Sometimes these metal chairs, like this one, sometimes we'll hear like that. Especially when we're in the basement, it'll sound like somebody's dropping it on the floor, or sometimes it'll sound like it's being dragged across the floor. So different things like that. So, like I said, John Pop operated the Bluegrass Inn up here. He lived down on the bottom floor. That was open for about 5 years. After that, a guy named Buck Brady purchased the property. And Buck, this is Buck right here, and he purchased the property and he added all of this on and opened it up as the Primrose Country Club. It was very fancy, as you can see. And that's still, you know, the skeleton of this building is still within that. It's just like this carriage house here was torn down, and then this extra part of the building was torn down here. So like the door we came in would have been right there.
Right.
So Buck Brady, back during Prohibition, he used to work for a bootlegger in this area named George Remus. George was a really famous bootlegger. He used to run liquor all over this area, and Buck worked for him. So once Prohibition ended, Buck thought, you know, hey, I can make a go at this and open up a nightclub, and so he did. So he purchased this, he added all of this on, added a casino, and he opened up as the Primrose Country Club in 1943. So let's head down this way. There's more chairs. There's no demons in here. It's just a closet of cleaning supplies. So I'm just shutting the door. Demons don't like to clean, to my knowledge.
Yep. It's okay. For now.
So this is the Cleveland Syndicate, by the way. These are the guys. So Buck owned the Primrose Country Club for several years. Now, back in the 40s and 50s, Newport, which is the city just, about less than 5 miles from here, Newport was very heavily controlled by the mob, specifically the Cleveland Syndicate. They owned all the casinos, all the bars and nightclubs in Newport.
Yeah.
Where we are here is kind of the outskirts of Newport, and so Buck thought, opening this club here would be okay, because he's not really in direct competition with them. But they thought it was too close. So they tried to run Buck out of town for many, many years, and they eventually succeeded. And then the Cleveland Syndicate took over this club and renamed it the Latin Quarter. And it stayed the Latin Quarter all the way up until the early 70s. But now, an interesting story. So, and I'd love to hear your feelings on this too. My flashlight's not very good. When you get a chance, if you could shine your flashlight.
I got one.
Ah, that's a good flashlight. Okay. That pole right there, that wooden one with the thermostat on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Back when this was the Primrose, that area right there was the men's bathroom.
Okay.
And what's currently the men's bathroom where we get all the creepy feelings, that used to be an office for the manager of the club.
Okay.
So when this was the men's bathroom in 1943, now this is a true story, I have the newspaper article, this isn't something made up for TV. 2 guys walked in there. One guy supposedly made a joke about the other guy's hair. He got angry, punched him, he fell down, hit his head on the radiator, and died on the floor of the bathroom.
Oh my goodness.
So that is the first documented death that we know of that happened inside the building. Now, the interesting thing about that, and I have an EVP I'll play for you in a little bit, both the guy that died and the guy that hit him have come through on EVPs and through the spirit box, which is really cool in my opinion. I mean, they've actually said their name. Because people always ask me, they're like, well, who are the spirits here? What are their names? I don't know. Most of them don't say their name.
No.
But they do, for some reason, which is so cool, in my opinion, that they actually talk to us.
And they died over there.
The one guy did. One guy did. So, you feel anything coming from over there?
Yeah, I want to go over there and put it there. That's okay.
Yeah, that's a good place to put it.
I gotta know, because I definitely feel it. There's definitely something there.
Oh yeah, he's probably here. His
Okay,
name is,
where at? Right here?
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah. The guy that died, his name is Paul.
His name what?
Paul.
Paul?
Paul, with a P.
Paul?
P.
Paul, are you here with me? If you're here with me, can you let me know that you're here by that REM pod? All you gotta do is touch it, and it'll go off. Can you do that for me? I'm not here to hurt you or disrespect you. Just want to communicate. I'm sorry to hear about what happened. And my name is Patty. You here with me? It's okay.
And the guy that killed him, his name is Bill, or William. He usually says Bill.
Was it right here?
Yeah. Maybe we could leave it there and we'll walk over there and see if it does anything.
Let's put it right around here somewhere.
Now that area, that's totally different area. That area, that's where Carl used to hang out, right here.
Really? Oh.
And the red chair at the bar, that's Denise's chair, Bobby's wife, so she always sits there. Carl, are you here? You know I'm talking about you? I'm gonna back up.
Paul, if you're here with us, make it go up to yellow. Make the yellow go off too. Can you do that for me? Can you do that? Make the yellow go off too? I know you're here. I can feel you.
But Denise will be sitting in her chair, the red one, and she'll just
What
look
one?
up. This third chair, the red one right here.
This one?
No, the third one, the red
This
one.
one?
I guess you can't tell red in the dark.
Yeah.
This one. This one. So this is Denise's chair. She's alive. She's
Oh.
not dead. She just sits here.
Right.
And sometimes she'll be sitting here and she'll look over there where Carl used to stand, and she'll just see him standing there.
Oh, wow.
Maybe something else is in Denise's chair.
Definitely something there.
Maybe Carl sits there, or somebody else.
Oh, wow. This place is really active. Thank you for doing that.
So I'll tell you something else that happens. Typically, instead of going that way, I usually bring my tours up through here. And one time I had a group, we were walking, they're all in a single file line, because you know how people are who aren't investigators, they're always
Yeah.
scared and they don't know what they're doing. So they're all in a single file line, and we're walking up this way. And right as I got to probably right here, I heard in my left ear, just heard it, somebody said, "It's happening again." And I looked at the guy behind me, and it was a guy behind me. It was a female voice. I looked at the guy behind me, and his eyes were like saucer